What's up, guys? It's your boy Hokage Puya here. I have to talk a little bit lower. People are sleeping in my house. You guys, I come back from work, I run, I shower, I eat, I watch a couple episodes of The Wire, and every time passes by, it's always 12 a.m., 1 a.m., and I gotta go to sleep and get ready for work the next day, and I'm lagging on these videos. But next edition of my ranking the best players in each position I've watched. Basically, any player that's peaked in the 21st century, I've watched them and I'm rating them in every single position. If you've missed it, go watch my other videos. We've done goalkeepers, fullbacks, center backs, and defensive mids. Today, we're going for the fifth video in this edition of videos I'm making. We're going to be doing the central attack, and also we did central midfielders. Sixth video of this edition of videos is the central attacking mids today. We're going to rank all of them in the 21st century that I've seen. Again, I only want to give opinions on players I've seen and I'm comfortable giving an opinion on. So any player you see on this list that is on here, I'm comfortable giving my opinion on it, and I'm comfortable ranking them on the fly here as I record this video. If there is a player that's not there, chances are I don't have great memory of them or I never watched them at their peaks. And it is what it is. I'm giving my honest opinion here. These videos have been longer than I expected. This is a shorter tier list of players, 29 players here we're gonna rank. And yeah, after the attacking mids, guys, stay tuned if you want. We're gonna have the wingers coming up and the strikers, and those are gonna be very long videos because I got a tier list of 40 wingers I need to rank. And finally, the strikers tier list is gonna be the longest of all, and I think I got like 50 strikers lined up and ready to tier list rank in the last video of this little series I've done. So without further ado, let's get started with these attacking mids. Again, king, table 1, table 2, table 3, and waiter. Only one king. There can never be a shared king, because that doesn't make sense. Then you're not the king if you're sharing the throne with someone. You're just a cuck loser. You know what I mean? So only one king, and then from there the levels speak for themselves. And yeah, I want to remind you guys, this is the elite of the elite for the most part. So if I put someone in waiter, it doesn't mean they're a garbage player. They're like the worst attacking mid I've ever seen, because they're not. But there's levels to this shit, and we're ranking them. First player, Bernardo Silva. I put Bernardo Silva table 2. Bernardo Silva table 2. The issue with Bernardo Silva is because of the Man City situation and the fact that he's been there so many years, he does get a lot of games. He does start a lot of games, and that says a lot about a player of his caliber, being able to start so many games and being one of the main guys on the first in the first 11 for Pep Guardiola during this 5, 6, 7 years of dominance that he showed in England. Obviously played an important role in Manchester City's treble, but the issue with Bernardo Silva is, as an attacking mid, there's probably been only 2 seasons where he has been standout. I think there's only been like 2 seasons where Bernardo Silva has been an absolute standout player in the Manchester City team. And another issue with Bernardo Silva I have, because technically Bernardo Silva is elite. His close control, his dribbling. I mean, Bernardo Silva's dribbling, it's so hard to get him off the ball when he's on form. But my issue with Bernardo Silva as an attacking mid is that the passing isn't necessarily at an elite level. His ability to find a pass in the opposition's final third is not to the level of a lot of other elite attacking mids that we'll see in this video. And Bernardo Silva at times is able to coast in this Manchester City team and just be a passenger. And the biggest complaint I have about Bernardo Silva is Bernardo Silva has never replicated his Manchester City form for Portugal. He has never done it, and that's a big, big issue for me. So if I'm taking everything to count, I'm going to put Bernardo Silva in table 2. But to be honest, once we get through all these players, Bernardo Silva is probably going to be at the end of table 2, like maybe even table 3. So I'm just warning you guys, I'm going to be harsh on my attacking mids because I love attacking mids. Next guy, Bruno. Yeah, guys, I'm going to be honest. Bruno Fernandes is waiter. He's a waiter. Hasn't won anything. Doesn't replicate his form for Portugal whenever he is on form. Since moving to Man United, he had one good season at Man United when he first arrived, a good season and a half. Ever since he fell off of form for Manchester United after being so good for them for a year, when he had came during like the COVID times, falling off a cliff. Bruno Fernandes treats the ball like it is a grenade. He does not know how to hold the ball. He does not know how to dribble past players consistently. His final ball is often rushed. You guys don't get me wrong. I think Bruno Fernandes has the quality to pick out world-class assists, but because he rushes his play so much, because he's so uncomfortable under pressure with the ball, he's always picking up the ball 1 or 2, 3 touches and blasting it up the field, making the cross too early, rushing the play. Consistently, Bruno Fernandes for the last 4 years has honestly been so mid. And I'm sorry, because of that, dude, why should I put him in table 3? Why shouldn't he be a waiter? I understand at Sporting he was excellent. Bro, at Sporting, I remember Bruno Fernandes was scoring insane long shots. I mean, absolutely insane long shots. He was the guy at Sporting before he went to Manchester United. And at Manchester United, he was the guy there for a year and a half. But for 4 years now, consistently, he has been an average player. So you know what? Because of what he was doing at Sporting in his first year at Manchester United, I'll actually put him in table 3. But depending on how this list goes, do not be surprised if I put Bruno Fernandes in the waiter category. It's no disrespect to him, but he is just not an elite level attacking mid, and he never was, to be honest. Consistently, he never was. Santi goes, okay, you know what? Yeah, Bruno Fernandes, you're gonna be a waiter because in table 3 we're having Santi Cazorla Santi Cazorla. Santi Cazorla is a better attacking mid than Bruno Fernandes ever was. Coming up, Spanish player, he never really established himself in the Spain team because he was playing in an era with such a stacked, deep Spanish team in midfield, in attacking mid, or more attacking-minded midfielders. Santi Cazorla was competing in that Spain team for a spot against Iniesta, David Silva, Fabregas, this like elite of the elite in the world. So he never really established himself for Spain, but Santi Cazorla, at least in the Premier League era, I think is one of the most technically astute attacking mids we've seen in the Premier League. Now, the issue is with Santi Cazorla is that he played for Arsenal. And he has played in the era of Arsenal the last 20 years where they don't win trophies. They're not a serious team. They don't make Champions League runs. They don't make title challenges seriously. And Santi Cazorla was there in the times where, people wanted Wenger out for so many years. So Santi Cazorla, a very good attacking mid, very, very good. Passing, close control, his ability to play tight spaces. Him and Ozil at times are just, I'm thinking at Arsenal, him and Ozil, I was thinking Arsenal have a chance here to make something special on attack, but it just never clicked for them. To be honest, it just never clicked for them. So Santi Cazorla, I'm going to put him in table 3. He is definitely, I'm putting him table 3 because I think in terms of career accomplishments and everything, him and Bruno are similar, but I genuinely think Santi Cazorla was the better player by not a long shot, but by at least a certain level. By like a table 3 to waiter, Santi Cazorla is definitely a better player than Bruno Fernandes has ever been. Coutinho again, I'm going to put Coutinho in table 3 as well. I'm going to put Coutinho ahead of Santi Cazorla. Now, Coutinho at his peak, fantastic player. The issue is, when he left Liverpool, he was exposed at Barcelona. I don't know what happened, if it was a constant confidence issue or the fact that he got that big money contract at Barcelona and he decided to just relax. But the moment this guy left Anfield, the moment he took that plane from Liverpool to Barcelona, he was never the same. He was never the same. Since 2018, we've never seen peak Coutinho ever again. The closest we've gotten to Coutinho at his best again was the season-long loan he had at Bayern, where he was a squad player and he would have amazing performances off the bench for Bayern. He was part of that treble-winning Bayern team. He had a big role to play coming off the bench consistently all season long for that team. And at Liverpool, obviously, he was a menace in the Premier League. His long shots, drifting into the wide spaces, dribbling in onto his favorite right foot, and curling in beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shots into the upper 90, top right, top left corner. Coutinho was a menace. And unfortunately for him, the Barca move just did not turn out, because I think if he had went to Barcelona and did well, and establish himself with the team. I think Coutinho could have been table 2. I don't think Coutinho was ever of the quality of being a table 1 king. He was never destined to be anywhere like that. I think his height is similar to Bernardo Silva's height when he was playing at his best, but seeing how his career progressed after Barcelona, leaving Bayern, going back to Barcelona, Aston Villa, and all these other teams he played for, he just never rebounded. So table 3 for Coutinho. Dybala. I'm definitely going to put Dybala top of table 3. Now, Dybala is an interesting one because you could call him an attacking mid, you could call him a center forward, a second striker. I just decided to put him into the attacking mid list. You can't really argue against that too much. Also because my strikers list was, I told you, like 50 players long. I couldn't keep adding more and more players there, so I decided to put Dybala in the attacking midfielders list, and I think it's pretty fair. Obviously when he was coming up in Serie A for Palermo, I believe it was, like, people are saying Dybala's that guy. Dybala is that guy, and he ended up making that move to Juventus. And at Juventus for a bit, man, Dybala was a menace, bro. He was an issue. He was one of the best players in the world at Juventus, but something just happened with Dybala where he kept on dropping in and out of form for Juventus at a certain point, and it got to the point where he was dropping more out of form than he was playing in form, and he lost his way at Juventus, made some moves around Serie A. Now he's at Roma, and he's been at Roma for a couple of years, and he's been able to establish himself there and be a starting guy and be basically a Serie A veteran. But yeah, Dybala, very great player. I mean, I remember his insane free kick goal from like the edge of the box, but like near the goal line, like the end of the field. Like Dybala, I really thought he would establish himself for the Argentinian national team. The issue with Dybala is also at the international level. He just never ever was able to mesh well with Messi, with Di Maria, with Aguero, with Higuain. So Dybala, at times, even though he was one of the best players in the world, he was not being considered seriously for the Argentina team, because when it came to playing for Argentina, when it came to playing with Messi and all those guys, he would not acclimate to their game style. He would not acclimate to the style of play that was wanted for the Argentinian team, and he was being left out of the squad a lot. But good for him to make it back eventually with Lionel Scaloni as the head coach. And I think he's got a Copa America and a World Cup now. I don't think he has 2 Copa Americas. I don't think he was in that team. But he's got a Copa America and a World Cup now, playing a decent squad role for the Argentinian team. So Dybala, I'm going to put him table 3. Now, Christian Eriksen is also table 3. Now, I wish Christian Eriksen, I really wish when he was at his peak, when he was at Spurs, I would say Christian Eriksen's peak at Spurs was from like 2017, end of 2016, 2017 to 2019, 2020. Basically, from 2017 up until Eriksen had the scary issue, the big scare at the Euros, Eriksen was top class. And I really wish in 2016, 2017, I don't remember if any clubs were in for him, but I really wish he made the move elsewhere, because Eriksen, when he was playing at his best, I swear, I think Man City was in for him at one point. He could have played for Man City. I feel like a team like Liverpool, if they want, they should have gone in for Eriksen. They should have lured him in. They really should have. I think a team of like Bayern could have been perfect for Eriksen as peak. But the issue with Eriksen is, as great of a player as he was in the Premier League for the Tottenham Hotspurs, it's Tottenham Hotspurs, bro. Like, as a player, I can give you as much respect as I can. Him and Harry Kane were running that team with Heung-min Son. I understand. But at a certain point, I need some trophies in your cabinet too to put you higher. I think Christian Eriksen at his peak, I would be comfortable putting him like bottom of table 2. But because of the fact that he spent so many years at Spurs, and then since then, obviously, I can't blame him too much. Ever since he had the heart issue in that game in the Euros, he has rebounded back. I think he's a pacemaker now, but he has rebounded back. He remember that Brentford team where there was a bunch of Danish guys there. That's how he rebounded after the Euros, because the Inter let him go. He had actually a league title with Inter as well, so he was very important to that league title with Inter when he was assisting Lukaku a bunch of times. I think that was in 2020. So he had actually a good season or two at Inter before being let go because of his heart condition, and he's made a rebound, but he's just never been the same player. And I can't blame him too much for that. So Eriksen, I'm gonna put him table 3, and I think if I'm comparing the peaks of Dybala to Eriksen, I would put Eriksen behind Dybala. Nabil Fekir going above Waiter, top of Waiter. Should I put him above Bruno? I think I will. Dude, genuinely, Nabil Fekir, I don't know why other top teams didn't go for him. Bro, he's a baller. And he's still low-key balling for Real Betis today. But bro, a couple years ago, Nabil Fekir was an absolute baller. I think the reason I'm putting Nabil Fekir above Bruno Fernandes right now is because I think at their best, Nabil Fekir is a much more capable attacking mid than Bruno Fernandes. And I think you've seen that in La Liga for a couple of years now. He's proven that for Real Betis, he's able to do amazing things for them in La Liga, even though he's not surrounded by immense amounts of quality. And even go back to his Ligue 1 days, man. Nabil Fekir at Lyon, man, was an absolute menace for a couple years. So, he's had, I think compared to Bruno, the reason I'm putting him above Bruno, when I'm looking at performances in the top flights of football in Europe, Nabil Fekir has had way more impressive seasons than Bruno Fernandes has. Way more, especially in the last 5 years. Nabil Fekir as an attacking mid, although he doesn't get the shine of Bruno because of that Premier League tax, Nabil Fekir, in my opinion, is a not a much greater, but he is a better attacking mid than Bruno Fernandes. So I'm going to put him above him and be the CEO of the waiter category so far. Phil Foden. I'm going to put, okay, if you ask me Phil Foden's ranking in June of last year after they won the Premier League, I'm putting him top of table 2 here. Phil Foden last year was amazing. But I have to put him at the top of table 3 because, again, he showed, and it was as evident as ever for England at the Euros, he was awful. He was one of the worst players, not just for England, but at the tournament. And since then, this whole entire season in the Premier League, yes, we're 5 months into the season, and I think Foden only has like 1 goal, 2 goals, and a couple assists. He has been awful for Manchester City all season long, and his form has taken a huge ass dip. And I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I don't know if his Euros was so bad he is overthinking everything, but he's been looking like trash all season. So for that, Foden is still very young, but the things I saw the last 6 months since June, since the beginning of the Euros, it has been very worrying for me for Foden and his progression. Is he too reliant on the Pep system? Is he a system merchant? I think based on all the evidence we have right now, Phil Foden is a system merchant, and for that I have to put him in table 3. Now you may ask, okay, why is Bernardo Silva so high? Bro, Bernardo Silva, it's not like he broke in at Manchester City. The guy was part of that amazing Monaco team that made the semifinals of the Champions League. He has a track record of being a fantastic world-class player outside of Manchester City. Foden has been at City his whole time and has no track record of being a non-system player. So, bro, Foden, I'm going to put him at the top of table 3. He's still very young. If Foden rebounds his career and plays the way I know he can play for many, many years to come, Foden will be table 2. And if he wins something for England being the main guy, he could potentially be table 1. But for now, he's got to be top of table 3. Mario Götze. I'm going to put Mario Götze over here behind Christian Eriksen. The issue with Mario Götze is he had the moment. As a youngster, he had the moment. He scored the winning goal in the World Cup final. He gave Germany that 4th star. He gave us that 4th star. The issue with Mario Götze is, and he also had 2 or 3 impeccable seasons at Dortmund under Klopp, winning league titles and getting to the Champions League final. The issue with Götze is out of his control. The issue with Mario Götze was it was a disease out of his control. If you don't know the full story, basically he makes the move to Bayern, and dude, at the first 2 seasons at Bayern under Pep, Mario Götze was a very good player. He had a huge impact on that Bayern team, but he was slowly putting on weight and his fitness levels were slowly dropping, and the reason why is because including other diseases, but one of the main ones Mario Götze had was he had a severe iron deficiency, and his body would not recover as fast as other players after training and after games. So his body was just slowly deteriorating, and his body couldn't metabolize food very well, and he was putting on weight, and his fitness was decreasing. And that's why his time at Bayern came to an abrupt end, and he went to Dortmund, and they helped diagnose the issue that he had. And since then, since like 2018, 2019, Mario Götze has gone to the Eredivisie. He's changed his whole lifestyle. If you look at him now, Mario Götze looks like a frail, skinny guy because he had to alter his whole lifestyle. So Götze, I'm telling you, was primed to be a table two attacking mid if he was able to stay at Bayern for many more years and play at the level he was playing at before. But life hit him, man. Life hit him fast, and it is what it is. I'm putting him table three because the levels he showed at Dortmund and the winning goal for Germany and the levels he showed in his first 2 seasons at Bayern, I think it's enough. He showed a very high level. Very high level. This is, he was touted to be one of the next leaders of the German generation, but obviously his body held him back. And it sucks to see, but for that, he's still an amazing player. When he was a youngster and coming up, he was absolutely phenomenal. I think he was better than Coutinho and Cazorla, so that's why I'm putting him above those guys. But I don't think Mario Götze ever showed a level higher than these guys at their peaks and higher than whatever Foden has showed in his career so far. Isco, top of table 2. The thing with Isco is, I wish. Here's the thing with Isco. When he was coming up at Real Madrid, he was coming up against in the Bale, Benzema, Cristiano era, the Modric, Kroos, Casemiro. So in midfield, there wasn't a clear starting spot for him, and in the front three, there wasn't a clear starting spot for him. But Isco made a name for himself really the most at Real Madrid when Gareth Bale started dropping off in form, when Gareth Bale started having issues with the Madridistas, with the Real Madrid crowd. That's when Isco shined. When Isco took over that right wing for Real Madrid, when he started getting more games under Zidane, Isco was one of the best midfielders ever. I mean, one of the best midfielders in the world, and he's one of the best. At his best, Isco is one of the best attacking mids I've ever seen. Now, when 2020 happened and Zidane had his second stint, Isco lost all his confidence. Isco looked like he forgot to play football in the tail end of his career at Real Madrid. And ever since then, Isco hasn't really rebounded. He's at Betis now, and he's facing a lot of injury issues. But when he's playing for Betis, even now, all these years later, he's still putting up amazing performances for them. The issue with Isco is he did not play long enough at the highest level, being one of the main guys in a team. But the level the level Isco showed in those years where he was absolutely one of the best midfielders in the world and one of the most important players for that 3P Real Madrid team, Isco 100% top of table 2. And I think Isco's peak that his peak that we've seen so far is better than Bernardo Silva's peak. So yeah, Isco, obviously his trophy cabinet also is, especially in the Champions League, more extensive than Bernardo Silva. So I'm gonna put Isco top of table 2. Let's see. We're making good progress here. Kaká table 1, but do I need to say much about this? Champions League with AC Milan, the dribbling, the way he would carry the ball, turn defenders on the half turn. Kaká was special. The only unfortunate thing for Kaká is for Brazil, when he was the main guy, that 2010 World Cup wasn't the best. That 2010 World Cup, he did not perform to the level he was supposed to at that World Cup. That's all I'm going to say. He did not perform to the level he was supposed to, because every top Brazilian guy has a moment where they're the leader of the team. 2002 World Cup, R9. 2006, that was supposed to be Ronaldinho's World Cup. 2010, that was supposed to be Kaká's team. But they crashed out in the quarterfinals to the Netherlands that year, the eventual finalists. But yeah, regardless of that, he does have a World Cup for Brazil when he was very, very young in 2002, but he didn't have that much of a part to play back then. But, went to Real Madrid as well from AC Milan and failed. That's not a slight on him. Many of the best players that we've ever seen in football have gone to Real Madrid and failed. But Kaká's highlights of his career for his years at AC Milan, and He won a ball. That's how good he was, bro. He won a Ballon d'Or when Cristiano had already won one, and when Messi was hitting his first peaks of his career, he still won the Ballon d'Or. That's how good this guy, freaking Kaká, was, man. So Kaká, man, table one. I could go on and on about the kind of player he was, but I don't need to. We know who Kaká is. De Bruyne, table one. And to be honest, dude, I know he has a Ballon d'Or, but I do think Kevin De Bruyne as an attacking mid is better than Kaká was. I think so. Now, two different kinds of attacking midfielders. I think Kaká's stellar moments were when the ball is at his feet and he was taking on players and carrying the ball up the pitch and creating plays like that. Obviously, De Bruyne's special quality is he could carry the ball, right? He can dribble to a decent level, but he has some of the best passing I've ever seen. I think after Toni Kroos, I think Toni Kroos has the best range of passing ever, but when we're talking about guys who could pick the ball out in the opponent's final third and place excellent balls and passes that not even other people can see on the field or in the crowd, Kevin De Bruyne is that guy. I think after Messi, Kevin De Bruyne might be up there as one of the best to ever do that kind of shit, man. Absolutely one of the best to ever do that shit. And you guys, I think I realized something. Oh, no. I didn't. I did. I was about to say, okay, good. I thought I didn't put Zidane on this list, but yeah, Kevin De Bruyne, elite player. I think, bro, I wouldn't be scared to put Kevin De Bruyne in as the king of attacking mids if he was able to just show up for Belgium and take them to a Euros or a World Cup final. At least a World Cup final or a Euros win. I think that's something that kind of is a stain on Kevin De Bruyne's legacy, but at the club level, he's done everything, man. You cannot question Kevin De Bruyne at the club level, especially for Manchester City in his time there. So, Kevin De Bruyne, table one above Kaká for now. Juan Mata, table three. I'd put him right here above Götze just because, obviously Götze, like I said, his health issues, but the time he spent in Europe at Chelsea, at Manchester United, he was in the Spain team that won the Euros in 2012. Again, another one of these Spanish players, just like Santi Cazorla, who grew up in a stacked era of Spanish midfield, and he was still good enough to get into the Spain team, at his best. Say Juan Mata, very good player, very tidy player. I think if he wasn't Spanish, I think he probably could have started for any other national team in the world, barring maybe Germany. Yeah, barring maybe Germany at the time. If Juan Mata wasn't Spanish, he could have started for any national team in the world. But he was Spanish, and so it is what it is. But yeah, Juan Mata, I'm going to put in table three. Mkhitaryan, I really thought Mkhitaryan would be better than he ended up being. But don't get me wrong, he is table three for sure. I wouldn't put him above Juan Mata. I really thought when I finally saw him at Dortmund and it was coming up there in the Bundesliga, I kind of wish he stayed at Dortmund because him and Aubameyang and those guys, Aubameyang and Royce had a very special connection with each other. They really knew how to connect with each other on the field and score lots and lots of goals, right? I didn't think the Premier League move was the best for him. I didn't think going to Arsenal and then eventually going to Manchester United was the right move. I thought either stay in the Bundesliga, stay at Dortmund, or like he is now and he has been the last couple of seasons, go to the Serie A. I really wish if Mkhitaryan had just gone to the Serie A back when he went to Arsenal, I think his career could have been a lot different now, and he could have been an even bigger Inter legend. But unfortunately, he made those Arsenal and Manchester United moves, and he did have decent spells at those clubs, right? He wasn't garbage. He didn't fail there, but no trophies, no outstanding moments. I remember for Manchester United, he scored a crazy like backheel scorpion kick goal, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I think the move to Premier League wasn't the best for him. But still, from what he's done in his career so far and the level he's been playing at for Europe for at least 10 years now, you have to respect it. I'm gonna put him in table three. Thomas Muller, no need. Table one. Now I'm gonna put him above Kaká. Now, why am I putting him above Kaká? Yes, Thomas Muller doesn't play with the beauty of Kaká. I understand that. And yes, Thomas Muller may not have the elite of the elite passing like Kevin De Bruyne. But what I can tell you about Thomas Muller is that In passing, he still has a hell of an eye for a pass in the final third. And obviously, Thomas Muller was also a guy I could have put into the center forward strikers forwards list, and I was tempted to. But honestly, Thomas Muller, the first half of his career was as like a striker center forward, scoring many, many goals. But there was a shift in his game where, when Lewandowski became more important, more and more important in that Bayern team throughout the mid 2010s, Thomas Muller, the requirement for him to score lessened more and more, and he shifted his game to being a more of an attacking midfielder, right? And so he's kind of spent both half his career being as a goal scorer, half his career being as an assister, as a creator. And I think the number one thing for Thomas Muller, and I think when you're looking at all the players on the list at the end, I think in terms of IQ, your football IQ, I think he's probably the most intelligent footballer on this list, if not second most. Because I'm seeing someone right now that I think is more intelligent, but yeah, Thomas Muller, just World Cup, 2 trebles, Bayern legend, 12, 12 Bundesliga titles, just legend of German football, one of the best German footballers of all time, and he's going to be in table 100%. Musiala, I'm going to put him. Bro, I'm gonna put him in table 3. Because I think it's fair, because in other tier list videos where I've put youngsters in the list, I've typically not put them higher than table 3. But Jamal Musiala, man, he will be a Ballon d'Or winner. He will be a multiple-time Champions League winner. He will be a football legend, and at the end of his career, he will be one of the best players of his generation, if not in the arguments for being the best player of his generation, along with Pedri and Bellingham and all those guys. He will be in those arguments in 12, 15 years' time. Trust me, he will. I think right now in the world, he is the best dribbler. He has the highest success rate. He is able to melt past players like no other. Probably him and Yamal are the best dribblers, but I think from midfield, carrying the ball the way he does, I think what he does is more impressive. He has to face more bodies. He has to evade more tackles. Jamal Musiala, supreme dribbler, dribbling supreme. But now, the interesting thing about Musiala is he is now adding consistent finishing. He is adding box presence, aerial threat. He is adding passing, elite passing into the final third into his game this season under Vincent Kompany. Jamal Musiala is going to be a scary player at his peak. Barring no injuries and everything goes to plan, Jamal Musiala, I guarantee you, will be a table 1 player. If not, he might be the king at the end of his career of attacking mids. But for now, I'm putting him in table 3, and honestly, I'm putting him above Foden just because I think his ceiling is higher than Foden's, and Foden, I'm very scared of him being a system player. I'm very scared of that, of those prospects. Nasri, bro, honestly, I don't know what to think of Nasri. I was never amazed by Nasri because I saw him in the Premier League mostly for Arsenal and Manchester City. I understand Nasri when he was young at Marseille was an absolute talent. But at Arsenal and Manchester City, I never thought he was an outstanding player. I'm going to put him to the top of waiter, but I never thought he was like a world-beating player. I never really think he did. Yeah, never really think he was. He was a great player. But yeah, I never thought he was a stellar player in his time in the Premier League. So I'm going to put him in the waiter category. Christopher Nkunku also has to go in the waiter category, just like Muller. He could probably be argued to be a center forward, put in the forwards list, but I'm putting in attacking mid. Nkunku's move to Chelsea ended up being the wrong move. In hindsight, he went to Chelsea and was injured the whole entire first season. So he, as he was on the sidelines recovering from his injury, a guy named Mr. Cole Palmer came in and established himself as the attacking mid in the field, attacking mid in the team. Nico Jackson has established himself as the striker in the Chelsea team. So yeah, unfortunately for Christian Nkunku, his career trajectory has taken a little bit of a hit. He's still relatively young, and he is looking to leave Chelsea. I definitely think Nkunku is able, if he's able to get back to his best and makes the right move and goes wins some league titles somewhere and gets himself back into the France team and plays like a World Cup, Nkunku can get into table 3, but his max would be table 2. But for now, Nkunku has to be waiter behind Samir Nasri. Odegaard, okay. I'm going to do this. I think Odegaard, I actually think Coutinho might be going into waiter. I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm gonna put Coutinho at the top of the waiter category. I'm gonna put him at the top of the waiter category, and I'm gonna put Odegaard right here, bottom of table 3. I think the big thing missing from Odegaard's game right now is trophies, man. He can play as well as he wants, but I honestly think in the last 2 years, Odegaard has been a little bit of a purple patch merchant. He'll pop up here and there with a lot of assists, and then ghost here and there as well for a couple months. Is this too harsh? Is he too low? I don't know. I need to see more from Odegaard. He's still very, very young. He broke into professional football as a 15-year-old at freaking Real Madrid, man. So that was always going to be too early for him. I'm glad that after some stints at Real Sociedad, he found his feet and made the move to Arsenal. And at Arsenal, he's the captain. He's been able to make such an impact there. But I need him to take that extra level and be the important player, clutch player Arsenal needs to win a league title, to make a deep run into Champions League, a semifinal, a final. But for now, I'm putting Odegaard down here in the bottom of table 3. Oscar, I have to put him in waiter. What a waste. I think some people think Oscar was an overhyped talent. I don't think so. I thought Oscar, if he stayed in Europe, it didn't have to be Chelsea. It could have been the Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A, Ligue 1. I just wish he stayed in Europe. But he's one of those players in the mid-2010s that went and cashed out, like a lot of players are doing with Saudi now. But he went and cashed out for the Chinese Super League, and we never saw him again. So I'm going to put him at table 3 because he's a bright up-and-coming player at Chelsea. Actually, I'm going to put him behind Samir Nasri and Coutinho. That's fair. Ozil, table 1. Now, I think he's better than Kevin De Bruyne. I've always thought Ozil at his best is better than Kevin De Bruyne. The issue with Ozil is his move to Arsenal was the wrong move. He should not have gone to Arsenal because he wasted 4-5 of his peak years, 5-6 of his peak years post Real Madrid at freaking Arsenal, at the peak of Wenger outball, at the peak of AFTV coming up in the world. Mesut Ozil should have left to a different team. I don't remember on the top of my head back then if there were other big teams in for him, but the move to Arsenal, I think, hampered his status or what his status could have been. But in terms of talent, man, Mesut Ozil, one of the best players at the 2010 World Cup, was absolute baller for Real Madrid, and I wish he never left. I really wish he never left. Again, 2014 World Cup, absolute baller for Germany, one of the best players at that World Cup. Mesut Ozil, man, what a freaking player. I think in terms of passing in the final third, him and Kevin De Bruyne are equal. The only difference between Kevin De Bruyne and Ozil is Ozil had a lower work rate, and so he can't do, or he would never do, as many roles in midfield as Kevin De Bruyne, because Kevin De Bruyne now has kind of shifted into an 8, and sometimes even deeper than an 8. Mesut Ozil always liked being on top of the pitch. Mesut Ozil always liked being within the final third of the opposite team, or he always liked having the ball and carrying it. He was a very good dribble. His close control, I think, in German football, one of the best close controls ever seen in German football. So yeah, the only thing ever evading Mesut Ozil was the Champions League. That's why I wish he stayed at Real Madrid. I really wish he stayed at Real Madrid, but it didn't. I'm gonna put him at the top of table 1. Cole Palmer. Again, I'm gonna put him table 3. I'm gonna put him above here. I'm putting him above Foden. Maybe recency bias tax, but bro, he's performing at such a high level, scoring so many goals with a much worse team compared to what Foden has been playing. I think Foden's still very young. He's a little older than these two. But yeah, Cole Peach is breaking onto the scene. I really thought he was a Manchester City reject when he was sold to Chelsea because a lot of usually when Pep Guardiola sells a player, he's not good enough. But this just seems to be one of those cases where Pep Guardiola actually believed in Cole Palmer's talent, but he let him go for his own sake. So good on Pep. And since moving to Chelsea last year, goals freaking machine. Cole Palmer is one of these attacking mids that he's going to give you high volume of goals throughout the season. At least that's what we've seen in his young career so far. Musiala, for example, is an attacking mid who is going to get you a more mix of goals and assists, or pre-assists and stuff, just destroying defenses and causing trouble all game long. Cole Palmer is more of an effectivity guy. If Cole Palmer isn't scoring or assisting, usually Cole Palmer doesn't have that great of a game. So that's kind of the difference between, Musiala and Cole Palmer. But Cole Palmer, table 3 and has a very high ceiling. Dimitri Payet, bro, Dimitri Payet. Oof, I have to put him down here behind Eriksen because Eriksen had many more seasons in the Premier League where he played at his best. Dimitri Payet in the Premier League had that one amazing season for West Ham in 2014, 2015. You guys, Payet was unstoppable. Or was that 2015, 2016? I don't remember. Payet was unstoppable for West Ham. He scored one of the most insane free kicks I've ever seen. Bro, Dimitri Payet was an absolute menace. Unfortunately, he fell out at West Ham and ended up going back to Ligue 1. But even his time before West Ham and after West Ham, more so before West Ham, he was amazing in Ligue 1. Post West Ham, he's had some issues, but he's had some good spell of form here and there for Marseille. So, bro, Dimitri Payet, I'll always remember him for the magic he produced that one season in the Premier League. But that's not enough to get you in the table 2. I'm going to put him in the midst of table 3. Marco Reus, table 2. Obviously Marco Reus actually started as a winger, but I didn't want to put him in the winger category because for many, many years now, he has been like an attacking midfielder for those last years. He was at Dortmund for many years. He was an attacking midfielder. He shifted from the wing position a long time ago. And bro, Marco Reus, just one of the greatest players ever to just never win anything of note, never winning that Bundesliga title. He would be a World Cup winner, but guess what? Marco Reus and his injuries, he gets injured in the last friendly of but right before the 2014 World Cup. Marco Reus was in the squad. Marco Reus could have made that Germany team at the 2014 World Cup, an even more dangerous team with an actual winger on the left or right sides that could take players on. Bro, he could have made Germany even stronger and scarier that summer. He could have made 7-1 worse himself. So Marco Reus, elite player, and because of his loyalty to Dortmund, he never made the move. But trust me, Marco Reus could have gone to Barcelona. Marco Reus could have gone to Manchester City. Marco Reus could have gone to Real Madrid, Liverpool, Juventus, Inter Milan. He could have gone to all those teams, but he stayed loyal to Dortmund and the Dortmund project, and I can't knock him for that. But because of the lack of trophies, I can't put him above Isco and Bernardo Silva, but I do think as a player, he's better than he is better than Bernardo Silva for sure. Him versus Isco is a debate. So I'm going to put him in table 2. James Rodriguez. Bro, if we're being really honest, James Rodriguez. Okay, no, I'll put James Rodriguez table 2. But the reason I put James Rodriguez in table 2 is because of his stellar performances for Colombia in the 2014 World Cup, and especially this last Euros, where he was just absolutely balling out. And not Euros, this last Copa America, absolutely balling out. And obviously that 2014 World Cup where he broke onto the scene, makes the move to Real Madrid. The weird thing with James Rodriguez is he was decent at Real Madrid, but his loan move to Bayern in 2017-18 season, or the 2 seasons he was there from 2017 to 2019, that was the best we've ever seen from James post World Cup at club level. It was at Bayern, especially in the 2017-18 season when Jupp Heynckes was the coach. Yeah, James Rodriguez just at club level in Europe just didn't happen for him. And, he was playing at Rayo Vallecano until recently. His contract was terminated. Just things did not pan out the way things should have for James Rodriguez in Europe. And it is what it is. But the quality he showed for Colombia, no, you know what, dude? The club level, having only 2 or 3 great seasons at club level for the amount of years you've played. No, actually, I'll put him in table 3. I'll put him in table 3 because as a youngster, I'll put him in table 3. I'll just stop there. But James Rodriguez, yeah, could have been more. David Silva, table 1. David Silva is table 1. I think after Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets, I think he was the 4th best Spanish midfielder in that generation. David Silva, I think at this point is so underrated. Went to Manchester City, established those years of dominance for Manchester City, being one of the key players for Pep Guardiola. Bro, Bernardo Silva had some of the most craziest controls in tight spaces I've ever seen. Like, he would do things that no one else in the Premier League when he was playing there could do. Genuinely, what a freaking talent, man. Obviously, World Cup and Euro winner with Spain. At the World Cup, he was a passenger. At the Euros, he had a part to play in that Euros. He wasn't no passenger at the 2012 Euros. Yeah, Bernardo Silva, just what a special player. I think after Kevin De Bruyne, he's the second best player to ever play for Manchester City. He's probably the best Spanish player to play in the Premier League ever too. So David Silva, just top quality. And yeah, I'm gonna put him for table 1 for that. And dude, honestly, I think David Silva was better than Kaká. I think he was. Schneider, I think, yeah, this is gonna be the last guy in table. Though honestly, if we're being real talk, Schneider is the bona fide top of table 2. Why is Schneider top of table 2? Yes, he had stellar World Cups in 2010 and 2014. Yes, he's a treble winner with Inter. Yes, he is one of those players that failed at Real Madrid and made a name for himself at Inter. I understand. But can anyone name me 5 seasons where Schneider was one of the best midfielders in the world? One of the best attacking midfielders in the world? You can't. The thing with Schneider is 2010 specifically, that year of 2010 was such a big boost to his legacy because of the levels he showed, the treble he won, the performances he had at the World Cup. He was the best player at the 2010 World Cup for the Netherlands. It wasn't Robin. It wasn't Van Persie. It wasn't none of those guys. It was freaking Wesley Schneider. But yeah, because of his lack of consistency at such a high level for at least a couple years in a row, he never really did that. And for that, I'm going to put him at the top of table 2. Florian Wirtz going up here. And honestly, if I'm going off accomplishment, I have to put him above Jamal Musiala. Although I believe Musiala is the better player. But, bro, when you are the star player in an undefeated Leverkusen team, you're going to be top of table 3. And, bro, honestly, Florian Wirtz, you could argue, is in table 2 already. You could argue Florian Wirtz is already in table 2, but do I need to say more? Like, I think Florian Wirtz and Jamal Musiala, by the end of their careers, they can both 100% be table 1 and potentially be arguing for that king spot. But, the end of the day, I'm putting Zinedine Zidane as the king. Yes, I didn't see Zinedine Zidane at his absolute peak in the late 90s, early 2000s, but you guys, I saw Zinedine Zidane 2006 against Brazil. That's the only game I ever watched of Zidane. What I saw in that 90 minutes, guys, that was enough for me to know this guy's special. That was enough for me to sit here and tell you guys that one game I saw from him live. Obviously, I've gone back and watched a ton of Zidane. I know the stats. I know the history. I know the kind of player he was. But that one performance alone trumps a lot of things that most of these players have done. Zinedine Zidane, just the epitome of class. Yes, I understand, and this is my argument too to the new age fans. If Zinedine Zidane was a player these days, he wouldn't be held in such a high regard because the social media era, and the people being so critical, so highly critical of players these days, he wouldn't survive. But because he grew up in the right era, we could look back on him on fond memories. Would perform for Real Madrid. Never won that Champions League for Juventus, or did he win that Champions League for Juventus? I don't remember. But for Juventus, for Real Madrid, top performer. And honestly, Zinedine Zidane's best was when he would put on the France jersey as well. So for club and country, this guy, special player, and absolutely the king. Regardless of that consistency stuff that we could talk about in his career. So, you guys, that's my list. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think I'd move. Honestly, we got to move some guys down from table 3. That's too much. I'm going to put Santi Cazorla in table 3. And honestly, I'm going to put Odegaard. No, actually, I'm putting Santi Cazorla in waiter. I'm going to put Odegaard in waiter. And yeah, I like table 2. I like the ranking of table 2. I like the ranking of table 1. Table 3 is cool. Yeah, this is my list, guys. This is tagging midfielders. Let me know in the comments if you disagree or agree. And yeah, stay tuned for in the next couple of days. I'll record the wingers video and post that. So you guys, the last two videos, the wingers and striker videos, are going to be very, very long videos. So if you're ready for those videos, buckle up and get ready. Get a meal, get some popcorn and everything, and watch those when they come out. But it's been your boy Hokage Puya. These are my favorite cams, the best cams I've ever seen in my time watching football. I will see you guys in the next one. Like the video, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.